Welcome back for another artist problem. We've got a new year, so we've got new problems to share. But in reality, this isn't a new problem. Unfortunately, this problem is something that is age-old, a tale as old as time. And what I want to talk to you today about is creative burnout. Now, this isn't necessarily the same thing as like a creative block. This is like, you understand that art is either, a good thing for you to do, for your creativity, your mental health, or it's legitimately like your source of income. There's a lot of positivity that could come and should come from art. But when you're feeling burnt out, even though you know that, you just don't feel like doing it. You just feel like you need a break and you need to distance yourself because, I've had enough, right? And that goes from like an amateur, a hobbyist, a professional artist, wherever you are on the spectrum of your art talent and the type of art you do, this can affect you at all levels, right? So the question is, should you take a break? And I know this is going to seem extremely self-serving, and okay, it kind of is, but my opinion is absolutely not. No, your creativity is a muscle, and you need to keep working that muscle if you expect it to grow. So what are we going to do? We know that we're supposed to, let's say, exercise. We know we're supposed to say do art. How do we force ourselves to do it? Well, there is no forcing it, but there are some tips. There are some things that I can share with you that might help alleviate that burnout feeling and maybe trigger a new spark for a new year. All right, so let's talk about a few things you can do to kind of help breathe some new life and new energy into your art, okay? The first thing is a very simple change of scene. Now, I want you to consider this. A lot of times we talk about change of scene. What could that, look like? Well, all right, let's go paint plein air. Well, maybe it's the middle of winter in Minnesota and that is just not a great idea for your physical health. But a change of scene can be literally from leaving your house and say like visiting like your friend's studio, painting in your friend's studio, to just staying where you are. Like you can just change a few things of where you are. A change of scenery does not necessarily mean a change of everything around you. I don't know, like light a candle and turn off the lights. See what the room looks like with that. I'm not suggesting that would be the optimal lighting for painting, but just, giving you a different point of view. And speaking of point of view, I'll never forget when I was stuck on an idea, I decided to get out of my office chair and sit on my floor. And I don't remember what it was exactly, but I remember my dog walked over and sat on my lap. And that sparked an idea. I wish I remembered exactly what it was, but the point is, if I had not had changed my usual routine, even in the slightest, all I did was I got out of my chair and sat on the floor. My dog was not going to jump up on my lap when I was on my desk. So just that little change, it's circumstantial evidence, so sure, I get that, but it just really surprised me how that came to me just because of that situation. So keep in mind that just these minor changes, you don't have to completely get out of that comfort zone, but if you're continuing to do things in your comfort zone, you will not grow. You have to break out of that comfort zone. Sometimes that means, grabbing a sketchbook and some pencils and going to your local coffee shop and just people watching, doing little sketching, even if it has nothing to do with the type of art you do specifically. Well, I'm pretty sure that no matter what kind of art you do, it's always helpful to sketch out ideas and stuff. So it relates back to just about any type of art. But point is, if you're going to change your scenery, the more you change it, the more options you have for new things to kind of affect you. Like if you go to a completely different place, or as little as changing the lighting or where you're sitting, standing, these things can just change the way your brain flows information, and it's kind of interesting how that can affect you. Okay, but all that stuff's, well and good, and you could probably think of that on your own. So what are some other things you can do? Well, here's a challenge. And if you want a challenge, sometimes people like a challenge. People come on YouTube and they, want to I guess, be challenged. I want to give you a challenge. See if this helps, okay? I want you to take a piece of art that you've done, okay? Something that you probably really like, something that brought you joy and you felt came out beautifully. Okay, I want you to take that and I want you to do that same piece of art in a completely different medium. You did it in watercolor, try it in oil. You did it in oil, try it in pastel. I mean, I won't, but you know, that's just me. But try it in a different medium, because in my opinion, taking something that is already stimulating what made you feel good about doing art in the first place, and then using that to kind of put it into a different medium will add a new challenge to it, if that makes sense. Even if you don't like the way it turns out, you will be working different parts of that creative muscle. I mean, I keep equating it to actual physical muscle, but it's true. Like if you were to do one form of exercise, if I am just going to lift, a dumbbell and do curls, I will be working one part of it. Whereas if I twist my arm out, or if I, hold the dumbbell forward, it will work different parts of it. So these minor adjustments, even in our art, will grow that creative muscle. So take that painting or that picture, or that drawing, whatever it is, that sculpture, that really you were like, I think I nailed it on that one. And it's okay to feel that way. Some of you might be like, well, I would have done this different. But give yourself a break. Come on. It's really good. I liked it. All right. I saw it on Instagram. Trust me. And take it, do it in a different medium, and just see what it does. Not for the art. It's not about the new piece you're creating. It's about what it's doing in your mind on that right side of your brain, and a little bit of the left side of your brain too, because you have to sort of figure out how you're going to emulate that in a new way. But it's going to work it in a different way that creativity than you would have just doing the next painting in the same medium. All right, so hear me out on this one, because you haven't already been hearing me out on the past two. Sometimes in what we do here, which is, art videos, product demonstrations, commercials, YouTube videos, all the kinds of things we do here, even we can get in ruts of like, okay, it's another video with me, how annoying. It's another product we have to do a video for, I'm getting burnt out, creative burnout. What I have found 10 times out of 10 to be effective in giving us a rejuvenated feeling in this studio, 10 times out of 10, is a new toy. So for us, that could mean something like a new camera, new lights. It could be something as small as a new lav, or perhaps just a couple of stands so that we can adjust our lights properly and they don't fall on us because the equipment's old. So with that being said, new toys kind of get you excited to try it again, because when you get a new toy, what do you want to do? You want to play with it. So I actually wanted to show you something. This is a cool toy. It's really for oil painters. Acrylic painters can use it too, of course, but because it's a bristle brush, it's designed for oil painters, but will work with your acrylic paint. And it is these Chelsea Classical Studio Nuovo brushes. Okay, so it's a brush. How is that a new toy? Well, it's a brush, but it's made pretty cool in my opinion. So the first thing you'll notice with this brush is this U-shape ferrule, okay? And basically what that does is it keeps the hairs nice and tucked in. They don't, splay out. It's designed to keep it in that nice little, because they're all filberts, cupped position, if you will. But also they're extra long in the handle. And then the biggest thing that makes these things unique is the tip here, which is magnetized. Now, why is that a good thing? Well, with the magnet, you can, as I like to say, dry your brushes properly. So these medallions have an adhesive on the back, okay? You can stick these like on the side of your easel, under your table, wherever. And then your brushes will just hang and dry properly, which again kind of helps that hair stay together. But it does more than just that, okay? This brush, and if you have been painting a while at an easel, the proper way to hold a brush is further from the back. This allows you to get further from your canvas so that you can either look at your subject or just literally, as we like to say, take a step back from your artwork. But once you start getting to this size, like above like a 24 by 30, 24 by 36 canvas, there's certain like fatigues that set in. So if I was to hold this brush it's pulling me down, right? It's top heavy, okay? Because that's just sort of how it works. Now, what they've done is created this, which is a brush extending counterbalance. And all you do is you add it to the end, and even though you're adding weight, it makes it feel so much less heavy, especially if you're at your easel for a long time, because now it's counterbalanced. So yeah, it doesn't seem to make sense, right? You're adding weight to make it lighter, but imagine this. Imagine you were Jack and Jill going up a hill to fetch a pail of water, and you had one of those things that had the 2 buckets, right? Well, imagine just one of them was filled, all right? What's going to happen? It's half the weight if both were filled, but you're going to be struggling because one side's heavier than the other. The balance, even though it does weigh more, brings equilibrium and allows you to walk more evenly, more comfortably. It's sort of the same thing here. It does add some weight to the brush, but not at the tip. It's right in your hand, and man, it helps with hand fatigue. It really does. And also, like I said, it's a new toy. Now the magnets will still work with this if you want to leave the extender on. They come in 5 different sizes. They're really well-made brushes. I put something together. You can see a link in the description below. It's only good for this weekend, okay? So from the time you see this video till like 11:59 Eastern Standard Time, maybe even Pacific Standard Time, I don't know. If you're up that late, try it. We're going to run a special promotion on these brushes, a really special promotion on these brushes, and these extenders, and a pack of 5 of these medallions, which, like I said, have an adhesive on the back. You can stick them anywhere, and oh, I just love that because I'm always. And the other thing is, they will hold from the side. So if you want to put it, you know, on the side of your easel and suspend the brushes, you can, or from over the top. So you have options. So anyway, you can check out a link in the description below. Fantastic brushes. We're going to have great prices on this, but it's only for this weekend only. So make sure you take advantage if you think this is something that's going to help your creative burnout. So they come in 5 different sizes. This is the number 2. They're all filberts, like I said. And that U shape in every size helps the hairs kind of cut together all the way up to a 10. This is your bad daddy, your big boy right there. Okay, really nice fill, if you can't tell. Okay, these are hefty brushes. Really, really great, really nice. And I don't know, even if they weren't brushes, I just find magnets fun to play with, and that's just me. I mean, I don't know, that's just me. So it's a new toy, and I think that it's fun to use. Like, forget the art for a second. Just, it's fun to use. It's fun to do that. Let me try that again. Yeah. I like it, Ming. Oh, don't show that. Cut that. Okay. All right, so this next point kind of combines a little bit of the last one with a new toy, but with a more traditional thing that I've mentioned before in previous videos that I think it's just a good thing to do regardless, which is swatching your paints. And we have these painter's color diaries that are designed to swatch your paints. It doesn't matter the medium. This is for oil and acrylic. It's a canvas paper. We have one that's for water media and pastel. Let me slide these down because I've got a bunch of ladies back there going like this. Let me move those down a little bit where you can then swatch your colors. Great reference to have. Regardless of if you're, in an active painting or not, every time you get a new set of paints or you want to try new combinations, these really give you a great layout, as you can see, and you can write down all your notes and information, keep track of them. They have these glycine sheets in between. That's particularly important with the oil and acrylic so that they don't stick together. And then I don't even know if this is going to be available yet at the time we're showing it. Maybe it will be. We'll put a link to it down below and you can see if it's in stock. This is the perfect one. We made the baby bear. The baby bear. So this is also watercolor paper. It's the same New York Central watercolor paper in both of these. But this is, well, if you're tight on space or if you like to take your swatches to go, there's a little baby version. Who doesn't love that? I love it. I love it. Again, has the sheets in it, and same thing, just smaller. Great for plein air painting. Great if you just want to have a smaller version of this. And they're all designed to be interchangeable. So you can take these sheets out, and let's say that you wanted to keep these all together, but this is just for a smaller like watercolor set you take to go. Well, this could then come and fit right into this, like that's pretty cool. I mean, like, you have a lot of options with these, and they come out again, and you can put it in again. So these are the Painter's Color Diaries. Okay, we've got, like I said, a nice mix for just about any medium you use. And I highly suggest you check them out. They've been a very good seller, and I think that they will legitimately help you with your creative burnout, because just playing with the paint, man, just playing with the paint. Like I said, this is like a hybrid of like a new toy, because it's not really new, you're just swatching your paints, but I don't know, having nice little, like, this to me is like a new toy, like the little baby bear version. I think that's adorable. So anyway, hopefully that's helpful. Let me know in the comments below. You know, have you tried the Painter's Color Diary yet? Do you swatch your paints already? Has it been helpful with your creativity? I'm curious. All right, let's move on. All right, so for this last one, you know, we all have certain creative triggers. Sometimes we forget what those triggers are, and also creative thinking spaces. Like for me, you know, getting in that kind of like state of like hypnosis, like almost like sensory deprivation. So like I find that I do a lot of great thinking in the shower. I don't know if it's just the sound of the water or that I'm kind of stuck in a little tiny baby room. But I have a waterproof notepad in there and a space pen, and I write notes in there all the time. Also, I tend to get ideas when I'm driving on like a highway for a long time, but also like, you know, things that are inspiring. So I was shocked when this happened. So this is going back a very long time ago. We had been doing tons of art instructional DVDs. For those of you that are new, that's a digital video disc. That was a CD looking like, I don't even know if you know what that is. This was before you could just stream stuff, okay? You had to have a physical disc, all right? We were creating art instructional DVDs, and I was getting burnt out. I was getting really burnt out, and it was starting to affect like my mood and my attitude when I came in here, because I just lost like that spark. Now, for me, this is just for me, I was surprised when my wife and I started watching Glee for the first time, and we watched the pilot. And by the end of the pilot, for whatever reason, now I don't know if you know the show or it really doesn't matter, but it really inspired me to like, wait a second, I can do things that are entertaining. We can do fun stuff. Even if it's the same stuff we've been doing before, we can change, like, and it was just, I don't know, it just hit me. It just gave me that feeling like, I got this. Now, the point is, that feeling that I had then, every now and then, I go back and watch that episode again, and it still gives me a little boost. It really does. So if there's ever been something in your life that you felt was really inspiring, you know, anything from anywhere, I challenge you to try to draw from it again. See if it has that same thing for you. That was certainly the case for me. Along with that, and I think it's to the same point to some degree, is sometimes just watching other people doing things in what you do. So like, I don't know, like, you can just watch Bob Ross videos. There's art documentaries, art movies, rather I should say movies about art and artists. Sometimes just sitting there and watching other people struggle helps me. I mean, like, you know, maybe it's misery loves company. I don't know if that's what it is, but it's sort of like one of those things where like you're seeing what somebody else is going through and generally overcoming, and that can be very inspiring too. I'm not going to say that's necessarily a Bob Ross video, but you know, documentaries I've watched of various artists or movies based on artists' lives, seeing how they got to where they are, I don't know, gives it a little bit of perspective and also takes it off of you, but brings you into a greater art world, if that makes sense. So anyway, these are just a few little things that I thought of for creative triggers for when you feel burnt out. Like, you know, art's good for you, you know you should do it. It all goes back to that book, The War of Art, not The Art of War, The War of Art. And you can read this whole book, but I can sum it up for you in just one sentence. It's don't stop doing art. That is basically this entire book's message. It's like, even if you don't feel like it, just keep doing it. And I think it's a good challenge of persistence. So anyway, what are some things that you do? What are some things that have helped you with creative burnout? Are you going through that right now? You can vent to me down below in the comments. Let me know how you feel. And if it's your first time here, please be sure to subscribe. Hit the like button if this was helpful to you, and ring the bell to be notified for when we post future videos. This has been Michael Goldstein, Artist Problems. Anyway, I would love to stay and drag this video off even longer, drag this video off, drag this video on even longer, but we have brushes to play with, and if you think that I'm lying, we will be playing with these probably for the next 30 minutes. So we've got to get to that. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you on the next Artist Problem. I just like playing with magnets, man.
We're trying to do it too fast. It didn't work because, yeah.
Oh, hold on.
Oh. It's satisfying.
Turn them into tassels. Now, if you want to be extra fashionable, you can wear your brushes. Those medallions, I told you, could go anywhere. Now, if you really want to go outside the box, paint with your breasts.
The durable bristles will hold up to it.
These bristles are designed to withstand rigorous painting sessions. I gotta put it on my nipple. All right, I think we're done with these.